Hi beautiful people, I'm Cherise and welcome to my channel. I know that I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy and just trying to keep on top of everything, but I am alive and well, alive and kicking. So hi! We are 2 days away from our Chinese New Year holiday, which I'm really excited about. And I'm just out here walking the dogs this evening, and I thought I'd give you just a bit of insights about how we live this side and also about how we found these dogs and how interesting that story is, and I thought it would be nice to share with you all. Firstly, if you live in China, mostly the case is you live in an apartment or a villa and you have apartment dogs. We don't really have yards here for dogs to go running around to be free like we do back home in South Africa, and I'm sure in many other parts of the world. So these are apartment dogs, and typically I would never have bought a dog in such circumstances, but these dogs were not bought, they were rescued. So my husband had adopted Lucy. One of our colleagues had found her hiding behind an e-bike on a stormy day, and so he adopted her when she was a baby, and I knew her from then. And then I think it was, I want to say 5 years later, we were on a vacation in a city called Chongqing in China, and we came across this pile of what looked like rubbish that I was like, oh my gosh, like how can they have this rubbish on a main road in Chongqing, like one of the biggest, brightest cities in China? What happened? And as we were moving closer to this rubbish, we saw that it was moving and realized it was actually a dog that was on his deathbed. So my daughter was the first one to stretch out her hands and pick him up. And now we were deciding, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to get this dog into the hotel? Because obviously dogs are not allowed in the hotel. Are we going to smuggle him into the hotel? But we're not leaving him here. And somehow, like it was like 11 p.m., we found a vet that was actually open, that was willing to, well, he wasn't open, he was willing to go and open again so that he could give the dog the treatment that he needed. And so, long story short, got his treatment. He was shipped to the city where we were living at like a month later. Like we were all the way in the north at that time, and he's been with us ever since. He is a special needs puppy. He has maybe like 2 or 3 teeth left. He's blind, probably, I think maybe deaf in one ear, but he's a gem. We love him. And it's interesting to see how Lucy guides him and helps him along the way, and how close they become, which is really, really cute. And yeah, also the vet was afraid probably that we were not going to adopt him, so he told us that he was 5 years old. And then when we moved to a new city and got him checked somewhere else, we found out that he's actually like 10 to 15 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, we were going to take him anyway. But yeah, it's just interesting to know. So that, my dear friends, is the backstory about our puppies. That's Lucy. Hello. That's Houdini. Hey guys, let's go have a walkie. Let's go. Come on. You see, these dogs don't know how to walk really. I don't know. So I just wanted to say that having a pet in China is mainly or only convenient because of the apps and the translation softwares that we have access to in this country. Otherwise, I can think it might be quite difficult because every type of communication is in Chinese. And when you want to speak to your doctor or your nurse, most of the time they don't speak English. So you got to use these softwares, and then you can know what's wrong with your pet, or how you can help your pet, or if everything's okay or whatever. Another thing I must say, that housing and boarding for pets, like when you're traveling or going on vacation like we are about to, is super affordable. And that is really amazing because you know your pets are in good hands and they are safe, and that they'll be in mint condition when you return. Also, services like grooming and washing and like vaccinations and stuff, also quite affordable, which is really amazing. The biggest pitfall, like I said earlier, is having dogs in the apartment for most of the day, which I really don't feel comfortable with typically. But that's why I choose to have rescue dogs instead of buying dogs. On the other side, I also really appreciate how having this companion helps people, especially when they're far away from home, to feel the sense of comfort and still to introduce a sense of normalcy. Like at the end of the day, when you're an expat, even though you are a contract worker, you are actually living in this country. This is your home, and to have the normal things like a car to drive if you can afford it, and pets if you have time and the finances for them, really gives you a sense of normalcy and helps you feel like you're actually setting roots and making a home for yourself overseas. And this is just a bit of a view of where we live. That's our apartment block up there, really high. Can you see? We are actually on the 41st floor, which is right at the top. There's a playground here. Lots of people come bring their kids, and this is where the dogs come to walk. All of these buildings, like surrounded by really tall buildings. And one of the days I'll show you guys just over that hedge over there. That's the ocean. Just over there. Really beautiful. Such a blessing to live here.